The chemistry, the addition of Paul George, plus we have a better bench. And listen, Andre Drummond is my guy. And when you talk about going to the bench now, the rest Joel, he's a double-double guy.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on this Wind Up Wednesday edition, we formally preview the NBA season. We're going to do over-unders for every team, with segment 1 being the Eastern Conference, segment 2 being the Western Conference, and in segment 3, we will talk about the WNBA playoffs as well as stories of the week. We'll table some of the foolishness going on in college while they figure that out. So let's get started. Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics. Over-under is 58.5. With us today, our coach, Alfred Johnson. Coach, over-under on the Celtics. What do you got, 58.5?
Over.
Over for the Celtics?
Yes.
Any particular reason?
They got the same team as last year. They won 64 games last year. They should match. They should easily get to 60.
Okay, easy get to 60. Mike King, our favorite team leader, is with us. Over under on the Celtics, 58.5. What do you think, sir?
See, I go under just because I think everyone else is healthier. And last year they were able to roll up on some injured teams. I think they're just as good. I just think they were also pretty healthy. So I'm playing the odds of like hard to be healthy 2 years in a row and everyone else got healthier. So those 76ers and Bucks wins won't be as easy. So I'll go I think it'll be close, but I go under.
All right. New York Knicks, everybody's excited about the Knicks, made trades, Nova Knicks, all of that stuff. Over under is 53.5. Coach, what do you think about the Knicks?
Over. I see them at least 55 to 57.
Okay. All right. Mike King, what about you? Over under 53.5.
I mean, I'm probably wrong because I'm disagreeing with someone who knows a lot more than me. I got under just because the Knicks trade when the Knicks trade for a big name and they give away all the depth, historically it doesn't go well for them. And also I think as a Thunder fan, that Hartenstein loss, or Hartenstein, or whatever his name is, he was kind of the glue. And I think that's going to be a big loss. That, he's one of those guys. He doesn't put up huge numbers, 8-8, but he makes 60% of his shots. So it's free points. You're not getting those free points anymore. You gave up a lot of your depth, so you're going to have some new guys come in that have to play some big minutes, and it's not always easy to find those guys.
All right, the 76ers, over under 53.5. Coach, what you got on the Sixers?
I'm definitely over, baby. I like my Sixers. We're over 53.
Any particular reason?
Yes. The chemistry, the addition of Paul George, plus we have a better bench. And listen, Andre Drummond is my guy. And when you talk about going to the bench now, the rest Joel, he's a double-double guy.
Okay. Mike King, Sixers, 53.5. What you got?
I like over also. I'm just, again, it's all going to come down to health for that pick. That's why I wouldn't bet it, because if I'm betting on the Sixers, there's one guy, I need him to stay healthy, and that always hasn't been the case. But if he does, I think it's an easy over.
All right. Mike, I'm going to stay with you. Milwaukee, over under is 50.5. What are you thinking about the Bucks?
I think I'd go over here, 50.5. The East still has a lot of bumps. And there's a lot of bums. We're looking at some of the teams at the bottom here, and you're going to beat these teams. You just got to get a 51, and I've got Giannis and other good players. Give me the over.
All right. Coach, what do you got? Bucks,
I agree with Mike. If it's 50.5, I'm over. Even if they get to 52 or 53, but I'm over.
Okay. Cleveland Cavaliers, Mike, over under 48.5. What you got?
So, Garland, Mitchell, pretty solid. Jared, I like that team. I really do. They're always tough. I think I'm going over here too.
Okay, Coach.
Over. I agree with. I think they can get. I think they should get to 50. Remember, it's 82 games in the season. They definitely should get to 50.
Yeah, but don't forget about the 65 game club, because most stars don't play more than 65 anymore. So it makes me a little nervous. All right, Mike, we're going to go back to you. Orlando, numbers 48.5. What do you got?
I'm going under. I mean, it's a solid roster, but I feel like it's next year because there's so many young players, and you got to prove it to me first. So if I had to put money on the line, I'm going with what I've seen. What I've seen is underachieving, so give me under.
All right, Coach, what about you?
I'm going under. They do have a good roster, but I agree with Mike. They're young, and I just think the teams ahead of them are much better.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to go to you. Indiana, over-under is 47.5. What do you think?
I'm going over, not much, maybe 2 games, but I'm going over 47.
Okay, Mike, what about you?
See, so far, this is the one that if this is my of all the ones we've talked about so far, this is my if I was putting money down, I'd go over. I think it's a good team. Halliburton's good, and I only need to win. What did you say?
47.5, so that's 48.
48. There's 82 games. 48's not hard.
I agree.
Halliburton, Siakam, Turner, and 48. Yeah, that's my favorite so far.
Okay. Mike, I'm staying with you. The Miami Heat, who they will keep throwing down our throats. 45.5. What do you got?
To me, the Miami Heat are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to win. They're going to do it. It's just you're going to get favorable odds every year because they shouldn't, but then they do. So I'm taking the over. Again, so far, that's parlay, Pacers and Heat, and make a little extra money. That's where I'm going.
Strictly for entertainment purposes only. Strictly. Coach, 45.5. What do you got?
Over. They do have a good roster, but another thing that they have is the young guy, Ben Mathurin, who they signed to a extension, and when he comes in, he really at times separate them. I like them over.
Okay, Mike, we're now at the Atlanta Hawks, and you can see that there's a drop that took place. The number is 36.5. What are you thinking about the Hawks?
So this is where it gets interesting because, like you said, 36.5, and then the rest of these teams are going to be in the 20s or less when we get to the Nets. But I get Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Clint Capella. I just need to have a losing record. That's what I can go 37 and I'm not 47, 40, whatever it is, 40 something, 37. I could lose a lot more than I could win. And I got Trae Young. Kind of like the over there.
Okay. Coach Johnson, 36.5. What do you think?
Under. I don't like the roster, and I'm not a big fan of Trae Young. He is not proven consistently that he wins. I think he's more into numbers, but I have them under.
All right, Coach, I'm going to stay with you. So we're going from 36.5 with the Hawks to the Toronto Raptors and 29.5. What do you have for Toronto?
29?
29.5.
I have them over. I mean, 29 is wow. I have them winning. I have them winning about 35.
Okay, about 35. Mike, what do you got with the Raptors?
I mean, they're starting some bums in the starting lineup, and there's some guys who put up numbers, but shoot 40%. Bench isn't bad. I'll go over on this one, but we're gonna have to start taking some unders because someone's got to stink if everyone else is over.
Well, with that in mind, Charlotte, 29.5 for them. What do you think, Mike?
There, I'll go under. Again, someone's got to lose, and that's not a great lineup.
Okay. Coach Johnson, what you got for Charlotte? 29.5.
I actually like Charlotte for this reason. They got some hungry young cats, but they finally have a coach. I had them over 29. Not many, but they have a coach, and I like them over 29.
Okay. Odd Coaches Podcast fact. CKA coached against Mr. Lee when he was in high school, and our team got a playoff win over him. So good luck to him. Good kid. I'm kidding. Again, Mike, we always say that. Oh, man. But anyway, Mike, I got the Chicago Bulls 28.5.
Give me the under. I mean, is Josh Giddey one of their better players? And the Thunder couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. because you could abuse him on defense. Like, he's not a great shooter, and he's a liability, and he's going to be one of your better players. That's a bad roster. Yeah, I love Jalen Smith. Go Terps, but that's a bad roster. Give me the under. Yeah, way under.
Way under.
Yeah, way under.
Bulls, 28.5.
I have him under also, and this might be the year that we see Donovan go back to college.
Wow. Ouch. Okay. Coach, I'm going to stay with you. The Detroit Pistons, 25.5. What do you think?
Okay. I got them over 25. I like their roster. They have I like their roster. They got some young dudes can play. They're doing better. Bickerstaff got them. I like them, and I like Cunningham off the ball. Okay. I like them for over.
Okay, Mike King, you agree with Coach? 25.5. What about you?
I agree. I like Jalen Duren. Last year
I love Jalen.
Yeah, last year I was doing some strictly for entertainment purposes. Rebound over unders, and he was, for a while, he was like a lock. I mean, he shoots 62%, 14 and 12. They got the 5 pick in the draft. I don't know how much he'll play, but he's an interesting prospect if he gets some minutes.
They got a nice roster. I saw Jalen in 9th grade.
Yeah,
and I've been sold ever since on him. I like how they're using him, but I really like this roster.
Yeah, I think because of last year's losing streak, I think this is one where the under is going to be popular, and I think the over is where the money will be.
Okay. Mike, I'm going to stay with you. Local to us, the Washington Wizards. Over-under is 20.5. And I saw them play against Toronto in the preseason, and I was underwhelmed. Well, what do you think, sir?
So it should be under, right? But knowing the Wizards, they'll probably find a way to be over, not get the draft pick, continue to be this terrible team. You can say this for 15 years now? They're always good enough to not be actually good. So it should be under. This roster is horrible, but they're going to find a way to screw it up, win some games, and they'll continue to just be non-existent.
Okay, Coach, thoughts on the Wizards?
He got a great point because I watched them against the Raptors too, and they beat them. They beat them.
I'll find a way.
So, 20 games. That would mean they got to lose 62. I got them over.
Yeah,
I got them over 20.
Oh,
they'll never be good. They'll never get the guy on the Spurs. Every time the Spurs are bad, they get an elite guy. The Thunder for a couple of years, the Wizard they'll never be good.
All right, Coach, the Brooklyn Nets number is 19.5. Close us out, sir. What do you think?
Under. They're terrible. They're terrible. And listen, they're terrible. Anytime they still now trying to promote Ben Simmons, they're terrible.
Oh, man. All right. Mike, last word, sir, on the Eastern Conference. Brooklyn Nets, 19.5. And yes, Ben Simmons is back and better than ever.
So
the Will Cotton's text.
I think I watched the Nets twice because they beat the Thunder in both games, and it made no freaking sense. The roster's so bad. It has to be.
Okay. All right. That was fun. So, fans, when we get back in segment 2, we'll go from the Eastern Conference to the Western Conference. And, yes, we will rank the Lakers. You just won't like where they're ranked. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful antidotes. Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasafeproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast. In segment 2, we're going to preview the Western Conference. Mike, of course, I'll start with you. Oklahoma City, 56.5. What say you, sir?
I'm taking over. OKC's bench would be the 8th best team in the East. Because I'm just going their bench. They've got Casey Wallace, who's a 3-and-D. Isaiah Joe hits big shots. Dort's a great defender. The other Jalen Williams, Jalen Williams with a Y, he's a very good big. I mean, they are, and they were smart in the draft and took a guy who would have been top 3 but tore his ACL, so they got a guy for next year. Kind of like when Chet was 2 and got hurt and didn't play, and it didn't matter that. Like, they're just building it the right way. It reminds me of, well, unfortunately, it reminds me of the Orioles in baseball, because that's not how I want to see the Thunder season go. But I look at this team. They were great last year. They added Caruso, who's a great defender and he can shoot. And they already could defend. They added another great defender. So now when they go against Kyrie, they've got a guy to just put on them. And they added Isaiah Hartenstein. So Chet doesn't have to play the 5, which against Dallas he was outmatched playing those two 7'1", 7, not big guys, but just like bigger than Chet. So now he can be at the 4. They got Hartenstein, and if they want to go small, they've already shown they can go small next year, and Hartenstein can sit, so they could match up against anybody. I just love how they constructed this roster. They hit on some draft picks like the better Jalen Williams, that coming as great as he is, that was a surprise, and Shea trading for him. But this roster's it's a beautiful thing to watch. There's been a lot of bad basketball watching the Thunder the last few years besides last year, but you could see the plan. This is it. Like this, there should be a run here. I want to play very, very late.
All right, Coach. I don't know if you knew, but Mike is a lifelong Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
From the Sean Kemp days.
That is legit. What do you think, sir? Over, under 56.5?
I think they're over, and I agree with him. Another thing about that group, they seem to enjoy playing together, and there is really no egos. There's no egos on that group. And I think that's one thing that listen, I agree. I think they're set up for a nice 10-year run in terms of playoffs and getting to the championship round. Winning it, they got to have everybody healthy, and that's down the line. But getting there, they have the personnel.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to stay with you. Minnesota, the number is 52.5, and I thought the trade was whatever. What do you think about Minnesota?
I think Minnesota's over. Again, 52, they easily can get to 55, 57. But I thought the trade for them actually was good. They're getting a real power forward in Randolph. Dante is super. I mean, I followed him since he was in high school and then Villanova and so forth. He does a great job. I think he's a nice piece next to Edwards.
Okay. All right. Mike, what do you think? 52.5 for Minnesota.
I think over, but I think I don't know if they got better. I'll have to see it play out. But yeah. Dante, he's on the depth chart as 2, but is he the starter like quickly in and then Conley's off the bench? Or is he just the backup who ends up getting more minutes, something like that? Because Conley, he's almost my age. It's not a good thing for sport. I've got 3 years on him, but that's not a good thing for pro sport.
No. All right, Mike, I'm going to stay with you. I love these guys. The Denver Nuggets, 51.5. What say you?
I mean, give me 51.5 over, and I've got the best player in the world. Like that's, to me, that's easy. I got the best player in the world. I just need 52. I'm going to play a bunch of teams in the East. Yeah, they should get there.
Okay. Coach Johnson, Nuggets, 51.5. What say you?
I agree they're over because 51 is not they again they 55 might be the ceiling, but it's over 51. Yes.
Okay. All right. Coach, I'm going to stay with you. Dallas, 49.5. And I saw a picture of Luca. I don't think he's in game shape yet, but I'll let you tell me over under 49.5.
I have him over 49. I agree. I don't think Luka's in great shape yet. But but I do like their team. They won more than 49 games last year. They should at least equal what they did last year.
Okay. All right. Mike, what do you think? Dallas Mavericks, 49.5.
I think I'd stay away from picking on this one because, like, you look at the roster and you go, yeah, they should be over, right? But like, they're that kind of team at this point that I think doesn't care about the regular season and will let the chips fall where they may. We'll end up 4 or 5 no matter what. We'll get OKC or Minnesota in round 2 and whatever. We did it last year. We'll do it again. So I don't think they're going to chase regular season wins. I think they're just going to say we've got the vets, and when the chips are on the table, we'll put the chips in the middle. Like we'll be confident. So that's why I'd be scared to pick it, because I look at them and say they should be over, but I don't think they give a crap. So that's why I'd probably go with the under, but I have no confidence.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to go to you. Curious about your thoughts. Memphis, 47.5. Ja Morant's back. He's got to get the stink off of him, and I think he's going to come into the season and play well. Over under 47.5. What do you think?
I agree with you. He got to get the stink off of him. I fully agree with that. 47. I'm going to say over. Again, not much. They might get the 49. But over 47, yes, and I do agree. They don't have a bad roster, and I think Zach Edey going to surprise people.
I like the kid. I like
the kid too. I like the kid too. And they got a true big.
Oh, yeah. He's going to cause some problems. He's going to cause some problems.
Last night he had 15, 8, and 3 blocks.
And, Coach, before I get to you, Mike, I ain't got to play him, but 10 to 15 minutes a game, because soon as he's in there, pick and roll with Ja Morant, and he rolls to the basket. How many guys are doing post drills in terms of post D? So you can do that hard pick and roll, throw behind him, throw it in, it's bucket, because you're not going to side front him.
That's exactly right.
You ain't going to side front him.
And I like the kid a lot.
Before, something happened. As long as he can contain and challenge and put a hand up, hang around the basket, there's enough bad shooting in the NBA that he can average a double-double in 15 to 20 minutes a game. Mike, what do you think about Memphis over under 47.5?
I think we got to start finding some unders, but I don't think it's this one. I agree. Good pick. I think a lot of teams are going to look back, and because that draft had a lot of bad. Like we said, going to the draft, there's a lot of bad. I think Edey's going to end up being one of the better ones. So yeah, I'll go over.
All right, Mike, I'll stay with you. Phoenix, 47.5. What do you think?
I mean,
they got a healthy Bradley Beal.
Sure, I'm going under. Again, it's an old team that's been together. Is this year 3 or year 2?
Year 3.
Year 3, and they were old when it started, and it didn't work for KD with Brooklyn, and he's old, getting older. Right? What do you like to say? Father Time's undefeated.
Undefeated and untied.
So you look at the West, and there's teams that are super young that were already better than you.
Young legs run free.
And there's teams that are old but not as old, and they were already better than you and got to the final. So yeah, someone's got to be an under. I'm taking them.
Okay, Coach, I tried to sell Mike on Bradley Beal. He did not take the bait. What do you say? 47.5.
I think they're under. I think they're just a good roster based on names. I don't think they're a great roster. And really, they don't have any. Who do they have you would consider a great defender? I mean, think about it. No, I think they're under.
All right, Coach, I'm going to stay with you. Sacramento, everybody's sleeper pick, under 47.5. What do you think?
I think they're under. I like the team, but I think they're under.
Okay.
47. That's a lot for them.
Yeah, they kind of hang in the 40s each year. Mike, what do you think?
I like the over. I've always liked. Maryland doesn't have a lot of guys in the NBA that are worth paying attention to, but Kevin Huerter is one of them, the Red Rocket, and he's pretty good. They got a bunch of guys that are pretty good. So I like young teams in the West because there's so many. As we're about to get to these old bums, give me the youth. So I'll take the over.
Did you just make that nickname up?
I don't know. I feel like that's his nickname.
The Red Rocket? I've never heard this kid.
I think it's just anyone with red hair gets that nickname. I think that's
all love. And speaking of love, you better watch your mouths on this one, folks. New Orleans Pelicans, 47.5. Zion has the Kirk Cousins rule. There will be no Zion slander on the Odd Coaches podcast. Mike, what do you think? Over under 47.5.
Gotta start picking unders, but even without Zion, they gave the Thunder they gave him some games. Like those games weren't blowouts. The Thunder had to work for him. And now you're gonna add Zion to the mix. If he's healthy, I think it's an easy over.
He's gonna be healthy and he's playing 65 games.
If he's healthy, I think it's an easy over. That's why that's so low though, because if he's healthy, it's an automatic pick, but no one believes it except for one person. I'll go over, but I have to start picking. I have to.
Coach, I love Zion, and it just hasn't worked out. But when he's played, sir, they've been in the top 6. That's what the data says. What say you, 47.5?
47, I have him over. I think the addition of Murray really helps them. Really helps them. I have him over 47.
Okay. Mike, Golden State, 44.5. What say you?
I mean, you got to start taking some unders. Even though Curry basically carried Team USA to a gold at the end there, I don't know if he could carry this group. So I'm going under.
Okay. Coach, the Warriors, man. What do you think? 44.5.
I'm definitely going under. They're talking about Draymond at the 5. I'm going under.
Okay. Coach, I'm going to stay with you. Houston Rockets, 43.5. They are one of the well-coached teams in the league. Can Ime get them going?
I have them over because of that fact. They are a very well-coached team. He gets the best out of them, and he utilizes those guys in proper positions. I have them over.
Okay. Mike, Rockets, 43.5.
I'm going to go over. I like Sengun. That's like one of the few OKC trades where they traded that pick that maybe didn't work out. I guess we'll have to see what they get in return for their one of their million future first-round picks. But he's a good player. They got talent on the roster. I'm taking over.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to stay with you. The Los Angeles Lakers with the 55th pick, Bronny James, 43.5. What say you, sir?
Let me run to the counter and put in my my under on this one. Again, you're going to rely on a lot of older people staying healthy. That's part of it. If LeBron goes down, this is a 10-win team. If AD goes down, this is a 10-win team. So you need both of them healthy to have a chance. And then my question is, how much does LeBron force Bronny to be on? Does he force him to make the team and get minutes? Because statistically, he's the worst player in the preseason. Plus minus is the worst. And I know a lot of people don't like plus minus. I think plus minus matters. Because in the end, when you're on the floor, what's the team doing? Are they better with you or are they better with you sitting on the bench? And then people go, it doesn't matter because there's other people. It matters. When I'm on the court, things are good. That's good. When he's on the court, things haven't been good. So does Bronny play at all? Because if he does, I think that just makes it worse for the Lakers. And even if he doesn't, this was a bad team last year, right? Like, what are we talking about? They're older. Give me the under.
George, that was a love message for you, sir. All right, Coach. The Lakers, they got Big Ant. They got LeBron, 43.5. And don't forget, they got Dalton Connect, right? What do you think?
They do. But I have them under. Outside of the two big names they have, this is still not a good team. And again, the problem, as you mentioned, is if they do decide to play Bronny in regular season games and they're not up by 40, that's a problem.
Coach, you went there.
Yeah.
Human victory cigar.
He's not an NBA player. You know, listen, God bless the kid, but he's not ready.
Yeah. All right, Mike, we're going to go back to you with the Los Angeles Clippers and the beautiful new facility, 38.5. What say you?
Kawhi's hurt, right? And the Clippers just put like some kind of ominous message about the beginning of the season. And
yes, they did.
What's his injury? Like, is it going to linger? Because if it's something that's going to hamper him this whole time, I look at the rest of the roster, and it's an 80-year-old James Harden.
Yes.
And Jones and Zubac. Like that's a bad roster if Leonard's not healthy. If he's playing hurt and if he's 80%, it's a bad roster. So yeah, I'm going under, but like it's weird because last year they were the team. And now we're saying they're not going to win 50% of their games. Like it's wild, but I wouldn't feel confident putting money on them to do well this year.
All right, Coach. Clippers, 38.5. They made a big trade. Well, no, it wasn't a trade. They just let Paul George go. What are you thinking?
I think they're under, and I'm glad you brought up Paul George. He's worth between 8 to 10 wins, so that's going to be taken away from them, given to the Sixers. That's why we had the Sixers over what they were. I got the Clippers under.
Yeah, okay. Coach, I'm going to stay with you. Spurs, they got Wemby. They got Chris Paul to help teach them. 36.5. What do you think?
36?
36.5.
Well, that's a lot. I got them under this year.
Okay.
I got them just under this year because they got a nice, young, hungry roster, but they're still a couple pieces away. 36 is a lot for this current roster. Next year, something different.
Okay. Mike, Spurs. I love Wemby. He's a difference maker. 36.5.
I think because everyone loves Wemby, the over-under is higher than it should be.
Yeah.
Castle has to be really, really good for this team to not be really, really bad. And yeah, they brought Chris Paul to teach Wemby. What's he gonna teach him? How to lose?
Right.
Like what's Chris Paul? Wemby's already. Chris Paul's a Hall of Famer, sure. I don't think anyone would take Chris Paul's career for Wemby's first 5 years. We all know Wemby's going to be just right better, but not yet. Like to win, like he's going to do his things. Yeah, they're a Wemby injury away from being a 2-win team. Like, what are we even talking about? Okay. Give me run and give me the under.
All right,
that's another one I love.
Okay. Coach, the Utah Jazz, everything closes at 9 o'clock, so you should be able to work on basketball. 28.5. What do you got for Utah?
28.5. I got them over because 30 is not, they can get to 30.
Okay. They can
get to 30.
Mike, Utah, what we got? 28.5.
I think if they trade Markkanen at the deadline, I could see it being under because he's legitimately a good piece.
He really is.
And because of that, I think they're going to get rid of him. I think right now in Utah, they got the Utah Hockey Club, 3-0. That's going to get all the attention. No one's coming to Jazz games when you got the Utah Hockey Club. That's their actual name at the moment. Give me the under. They trade Markkanen. That's it. They're going to trade Markkanen, then they hit the under.
All right. Finally, the Portland Trail Blazers. 21.5. Mike, what about you on the Portland Trail Blazers? 21.5.
20 is so low. Ayton's a decent player. 57% from the floor. You got Scoot in year 2. He should improve. Last year wasn't great. But boy,
you're trying to talk yourself into something, aren't you? Yeah.
Jeremy Grant, he scores, but it's a bad team. 20 is so low. Give me the over. They're going to get 21 wins.
Okay.
No, 22 wins. They need 22. They're going to get 22 wins. Give me the over.
Coach, what are you thinking about Portland? Close us out.
I definitely think they're going to do better than 20, maybe 25. I agree with Mike. Yeah. I have them over, but it is a bad team.
Look, bad team.
It's a bad team.
All right, so fans, when we get back in segment 3, WNBA postseason, we're going to break it down. We'll be right back on the Eye Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the Eye Coaches Podcast. And in segment 3, WNBA finals are here. So first, let's do a breakdown of the finals and then talk stories of the week. So the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx are in the finals. New York has clearly been the best team all year, but a funny thing happened on the way to the dance. The best defensive team made it to the finals, and they are playing fearless basketball. So in game 1, Minnesota got the win with a great comeback. Game 2 will be played today on the day of the show taping, and Game 3 will be played on Wednesday, and this comes out on Wednesday. So magazine-style show. Let me give my panel just a couple of notes, and then we'll go from there, starting with Coach. So in the regular season, Minnesota won 3-1, including the Commissioner's Cup championship game, so there is no fear in playing New York. New York swept Atlanta, and they downed the Aces, and this just wasn't the Aces' year. Minnesota swept Phoenix, and they beat Connecticut 3-2 in the semis, so they've been deep into a finals situation. Coach Johnson, what do you think, man? Who is your prediction to win the WNBA championship?
Minnesota. I like the way they play together. I like their swagger. But they have 2 things you need to win. They got a point guard, and they got a big that can score in and out. I just like their team. But they play together. Not again, when I say that, there's nothing against the Liberty. I just think Minnesota has better players at the positions you need to control the game.
Okay. All right. Mike King, what do you think? What is your prediction for the championship?
I'd feel better about saying New York if they did a game 7, best of 7 series like you would expect, not best of 5 in the championship. Like that just seems like middle school stuff here. Like, what are we doing? They had an 18-point lead with under 5 minutes, with what, 5 minutes to go?
Mm-hmm.
Go with it.
They had an 18-point lead for a reason. I think they are the better team. They got an MVP. They got an MVP. They got just good players all around. Minnesota's a good team. I think New York's better. I think that's why they had that lead. They missed a layup at the end that would have kept this thing going. I mean, we are a crazy, unprecedented comeback away from being here going, yeah, New York's gonna whoop them, right? Like, and that's the nature of sports. We're prisoners of the moment, but it's only a best of 5, and that's why it's hard to pick against a team up 1-0, and you just need to win 2 out of 4.
2 out of 4, yeah.
Easy. But I'm gonna go.
Mike, they didn't just miss a layup. Remember, Stewie missed the second of the foul shots.
Yeah,
that would have won the game. you know, the
I mean,
way
they gave it. It was taken from them, but they also gave it away. Like they had a lot of things on their hands that they didn't finish the job. But good for Minnesota for doing it. But I'm going to go New York because I think they've been the best team all year. We all thought the Aces would kind of run through this again, and they did it, right? So I'm going with them.
All right. So I'm a fan of saying big time players step up in big time situations. I just think New York has more big times than Minnesota, but Minnesota will definitely make it interesting. But when you got Stewie, you got Ionescu, they need moments for history. They're playing for history. Minnesota's playing for the championship, and New York has never won it. They even did a documentary on ESPN about New York Liberty not winning. So I'm going to go with New York. But the story of the week, and Mike brought it up, is 7-Up. The WNBA will move to a best-of-7 WNBA Finals series starting next season. In her address to the media before Game 1, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said the finals between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty, we've got best of 3 in the first round. We have best of 5 now, but the best of 7 will go 2-2, 1-1-1. So that is a good thing. Mike, next year, your wish is granted. What do you think?
I think the first round should be a best of 5 also. Like the season's 7 minutes. So why not make your money? Like you look back to the first round, they had Caitlin Clark, they averaged $2.5 million for TV. And it was 2-game series. Like, think of all the money that you're leaving there by not making that longer. It's just odd. You make money when you have more TV and you have more people in the seats. So, 7 is clear, but I would make every round a little longer because the regular season's so much shorter. Mm-hmm. Let the playoffs be longer. You make the TV money. You make the in-person money. People are going. You're expanding now, which people before were concerned about all the expansion when you've been losing money makes it worse, right? So now let's make more money, more games. I'm all for more games.
All right, Coach. Final thoughts on that. What do you think about them finally moving to best of 7 for the championship series?
One, I think is good, and I agree with Mike about the first round playoffs being 5 games. 7 games is great. Didn't they also up it to 44 games for the season?
Yes, they did. Yes,
they did that as well. Again, I agree with Mike. They're leaving money on the table right now. They need to capitalize on the money that's available for the players in the WNBA to make. This is a good time. The game is at an all-time high. I talked to a ton of guys, and I know guys not missing when they're on TV, and I know I'm one of them. It's some good basketball, and the thing I like to tell a lot of young guys that can't stop talking, them girls better than you are. It ain't even close how skilled a lot of them young ladies are. It's not even close.
Yeah. All right, well, good for them. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram @OddCoaches.
Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.